The root causes of the shameful scenes of social unrest. Some politicians have suggested knee-jerk reactions which threaten to weaken all of our democratic rights.
With internet connections becoming faster, accessible not just on the home PC, but on laptops, tablets, and mobile phones anywhere at any time, we as parents, we have less and less power over what our children see.
What began with a speech...
Absolute tosh, Cameron. I've never heard as much complete and utter rubbish in my entire life on this planet. David Cameron is a complete and total liar, just like Tony Blair and Starmer. So internet connections aren't getting faster for everyone. I can tell you now, when we were on normal broadband, it was actually very quick. Now, it's very, very slow. Firstly, if you don't live in a really small house, if you don't live like in a terrace house or a small house that's all the rooms are very close together, if you live in a bigger house, firstly, when everyone was connected to the normal telephone line, most people who had a telephone that plugs into the wall socket, it can plug into different rooms in the house, right? And if you've got a hands-free phone, the main transmitter for the hands-free phone ran at a certain power level, right? When you switch over to these new cable and broadband, everything runs through one socket, so you don't have different sockets in different rooms. You only have one socket. The chargers, you can have chargers in different rooms, but not the one that gives the signal. That unit that gives the signal, when you plug your normal phone into it, British Telecom have made it so it is lower. It's actually a lower power unit. So it's not actually sending the power, the strength of electricity and power into the unit, which other phone handsets run off in the house. So it's got a power dip. So if you've got a house that's medium size or larger, actually, even if you've got other handsets plugged into other rooms to the power socket, which charge them but don't give the signal, you actually can't get a signal. You actually cannot get a signal. And when you look how much the signal boosters are, the prices of them are an absolute fortune compared to just a charger unit, which really should repeat the signal. So I can't actually use the normal telephone in our house. I can't actually use a normal telephone in my room because the distance is too far from the main unit. So that it's actually going from broadband to this new cable network, which is meant to be the latest, quickest thing. It's actually had a detrimental effect on the phone system. And then the other thing is this, right? Even the signal from BT will only give you a set number of those repeater signal units. And I can't get the signal from that. It keeps dropping all the time. So what you end up doing is you end up buying a repeater. Everyone just thinks, if you can't get the signal, you'll get one of those little things that you plug into the wall socket. Not for the telephone, just for the Wi-Fi, right? Now, those Wi-Fi repeaters are extremely slow. Firstly, you've got to buy one. So BT have been quite ingenious when they've actually they've made it weaker. What they've done is they've give you a quicker connection, which is the cable is a quicker signal than broadband, but the equipment you get with it to distribute it around the house is actually weaker. And I think they've done that strategically as a corporate entity with their partners so they can sell loads of those repeater things that you plug into the wall. And then you've got to have the password code in them and they can be hackable. And actually, they're very slow. What we've done here in our house, we've upgraded to cable, which is meant to be the latest thing, and it's actually slower for me. For me, it's slower because I've got to have a repeater. If I don't have a repeater plugged into the wall in a normal socket, then the signal keeps dropping all the time. And when with the repeater plugged in, it's just really, really slow. So I've actually suffered. I've actually suffered under the new supposed upgrades. And then another thing is that this is another, for children safety feature. When I go on my own phone signal, when I turn the Wi-Fi off and just use my own mobile phone signal, which I pay for, my own private mobile phone, I'm not using the house, right? I can go on whatever websites I want. Like, they might be kind of like over 18 websites or whatever, or certain restricted information or whatever. I can't go on those websites through the house, right? And you used to be able to do a little. Well, I'm not a hacker, but there was a little simple thing you could do, which is if you were downloading a video on your Wi-Fi, you could switch it over. Sorry, if you did it on your own phone, halfway through you could switch it over to the Wi-Fi, and because you weren't typing a specific address in or this or that, it was just an already connected stream, and you could carry on downloading. Now they've just done a thing to stop you doing that, which is that really is a party pooper, if I ever knew one. It's just the government. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually due to something that I was doing and no one else was doing. Little things that you can do in life, and the government are going to clamp down on all these little loopholes and tricks. Yet they like all their tax breaks, their tax tricks, their tax experts and all these type of people, so they can benefit. They can benefit. They can do little tricks. They can do clever Cameron and clever Clegg and clever, international tax experts. They're the clever ones. They do clever little things for themselves to make millions, billions, trillions. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, tax havens in the Canary Islands or in Switzerland or whatever, right? But us, in your house, right, you can't do a little trick just to switch over from, your own personal private phone connection. You're downloading a video and like, this is taking ages, I might use up all my data. So you switch over to the house one halfway through and download the rest of it. Oh, no, you can't have that little trick or little loophole. They're erasing, it's IQ, it's intellect, it's intelligence. What makes a human intelligent and clever is working things out and calculating them, but they don't want us to have IQ, AI. They can, but we're not clever enough to work out all their tricks and cons, but they're eradicating every single one of ours, so we become mice in a maze, rats in a rodent ranchero, basically, crawling the walls. This is why I don't like Gates. Gates can have little tricks, right? We can't. Okay, and this is how we want to eradicate crime. Well, that's what we're actually going to have to do. What we're going to do is eradicate every single loophole all the way from the bottom to the top. So then they aren't doing little tricks and cons, but our little tricks and cons, which is, downloading a video, which you clearly could do from the first place, or you wouldn't have been able to make a connection with your normal phone, right? A little break in life. A little bonus in life, a little favour in life. Oh, I downloaded a video, but Gates, Nancy Pelosi, I'll just do a little stock exchange hack, a little wink and nudge. I'll put 20 chips on this company, and then just as it's about to just before it's about to crash, I'll switch them over to another company. I got a little tip off. That's a $20 million. A little $20 million hack for Nancy Pelosi, but downloading one video, no. Which brings me on to the other matter which they just said, which is Cameron's just said, basically, online safety, as children as have never been under any more threats before. What absolute tosh, right? Let's get this clear. All of the companies, all of the video games publishers, all of the computer program publishers, even the video studio that I'm using with the Boris feature built into it, and all of the advertisements for the main chocolate bars, cookies, crisps, fast food, everything that's actually, your kids have to watch that in between whatever else they're watching, right? This is the required adverts. Cameron, right, is talking the most absolute tosh that I've ever heard in my life. They've never had as much control in what your kids see and hear, which your parents don't have control in that, right? Oh, I blocked an advert. Oh, well, the advertisement series has ended now. We've started a new one, and that one's not blocked. And seeing though it's Greg Secker, he's running 100 adverts at once. And then, then another 100 adverts, no one can be bothered. We're going to sit down blocking adverts all day when YouTube have made it take at least 5 seconds for the page to load where you block it. So if you want to block an advert, you've got to wait for 5 seconds for it to load. It takes longer than it did before when you could just pop a screen up and do it really quick, though. They've removed that one, right? They're actually mocking us. They're actually mocking us. All of the companies that own shares in the other companies that they're flashing it to your children. This is compulsory watching in between. And then apparently YouTube have got the toughest policy on the face of planet Earth. People are getting stuff removed that isn't even illegal, right? And if the government hadn't made it illegal for your kids, then I don't know what your kids can watch, right? Cameron is talking absolute and complete utter tosh, right? And then you're in a house, you're over 18 years old, right? In a house, a responsible adult, even over 21, cannot even go on, adult websites or whatever it is, or even for research purposes, or even there are other websites which fall under that age category as well, not just adult ones. There are certain information websites that it won't load as well, right? So just because the person who owns the house, right, if you're over a certain age, even though you've got a legal right to access whatever you want, so they own the connection and they don't allow you. So this is like, it's an administration-based policy. Now, what is Cameron talking about? They implemented parental controls on devices about 5 years ago, right? Probably when Cameron was still in government. So houses have had parental controls on internet connections for at least 5 years, if not longer, right? So, I mean, I really don't know where Cameron is getting this from. And now they're talking about the news, right? Oh, Black Belt Barrister's saying that, we've got a right to record any event that's happening, raw footage, due to the truth and fact of what's happening, right? You've got a legal right to record a real life event because it's just raw footage, reporting it. If you don't make any extra comment on it or whatever, don't have anything to add to it, right? They're wanting, Starmer's wanting to now stop us being able to film actually what's happening in real life, and only the ITV, BBC, and Channel 4 and Sky will be able to broadcast it to us through their framed interpretation of events, right? Through their presenter and reporter's wording, right? Oh no, it's going to be all perfectly framed, I think the Prime Minister actually now, it's almost like it's the government news department. Like, the government will say what news you're going to get and how the news is going to be delivered and who even presents the news and what, angles and you can see of what's happening. This is absolutely ridiculous. So, I've never heard as much tosh from Cameron. And at the end of the day, we're all going to end up like someone's just been talking about, you can't even hug a kid if they fall over and hurt themselves anymore. And they've got notices on the tube saying, you don't look at anyone sexually anymore. If anyone looks at you sexually, you've got to report them. Actually, I actually learned, this is like through IQ and learning, right? So in the natural order of life, it's actually if a human being themselves is actually attractive and an other person or entity looks at them, and it's actually the subject, the actual subject that causes the response in the observer, right? In the natural order of things is for the subject to cause a natural response or reaction in the observer, right? So if someone happens to be beautiful, right, and you look at them, they naturally cause a response in you, and you inside yourself are attracted to them, right? So they're actually basically saying that nature is illegal. Now, fair enough. If someone's like sat on the tube and they're rolling their tongue around and winking and nudging, or curling the tongue or whatever, and being lewd, right? That's one thing. But that sign is actually saying that you're not allowed to look at someone sexually. So that means that you're effectively not allowed to have a sexual response in you from another person who's attractive. Now, that is, in my opinion, absolutely insane, particularly when 100% of television presenters are using makeup. The purpose of makeup is to look nicer. The purpose of makeup and eyeliner and eyelashes and lipstick is to aesthetically look nice, and not just nice. These people, we've actually lost the Secretary of State for Media, Culture and Sport, that Lucy Fraser. She's gone now, right? She got voted out. She was going on about no upskirt shots. Like she's walking around in a prom dress, These women are actually, in my opinion, they're demented. They're actually not intelligent. They aren't responsible enough to be news presenters, to be television presenters, to be on GB News, because they're actually part of an institution that's now putting these messages up and notices up in public, which is, it's not only counterculture, it's anti-human, and it's actually, it's flawed in logic. But yet we've got all these experts that Mark Zuckerberg's got. The billionaire Mark Zuckerberg has got access to the world's greatest psychologists, the world's best psychology teams, who are busy taking data from all our phones and evidence from our responses and reactions to things and calculating it on a supercomputer. And they're coming out with these new notices on the tube saying, if you look at someone sexually, you report them to the police. Someone isn't doing their job right. Someone is not doing their job right, and they're on a hell of a lot of money. Mark Zuckerberg is literally handing them bricks of money over. Like, here's $10,000 with an elastic band round, Well, no, it's in Bitcoin now. They don't use cash, do they, Zuckerberg? In Bitcoin. He's literally throwing bricks of money at these people, right? And they're coming out with absolute, complete and total tosh. Because, I don't actually think they know what they're doing. And everyone's talking about AI now, but what about IQ? This is the thing. They've got this obsession with AI, and I don't like the psychology of it, because it's artificial intelligence, which means it's a supercomputer. But when you say AI, it's almost like except cookies. It's trying to make out that there's something to do with the eyes, because it's AI, right? And it's meant to be like a grade, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like a post-degree, graduate degree, undergraduate, master's degree. It's meant to, they're trying to sell AI. So it's like some form of intelligence, and it's got a grading, and it's about looking at things and observing things, right? When actually it means artificial intelligence, but I don't even think a supercomputer is intelligence. It's a processor. A supercomputer processor is not human, and it can't really have a grade, because intelligence grading for humans and awards is about, it's given to a human, Are we going to start having computers that have a degree? This computer's got a degree in law, IQ is different. The whole AI pitch of AI is, it's got racial and ethnic undertones to it. And what it's trying to do is it's trying to mediate a world order of some kind of social mediation in the term itself. It's trying to like almost kind of like draw the attention away from the difference in humans and maybe in a way put the burden onto a machine. It's almost like trying to draw the burden of the difference between humans away, the attention away from humans, and actually say, well, this machine is the one that's clever. It's the machine that's clever because it's AI, right? Not actually artificial intelligence. In fact, it's trying to disguise the term artificial intelligence and transform it into something that is more human labelled rather than machine labelled. It's almost like trying to give a machine label, artificial intelligence, into AI, which is like a human level of accolade, really, in a way, or excellence. So I don't like the way that any of these tech people are approaching the whole thing. It's literally it's on the level, it's on the same intellect level as accept cookies. You know, and the thing is, a cookie is a thing that you actually eat, right? Well, it's not even, I don't even think that it's food. It's not even food grade. It's just junk, right? And it's converting a junk food into a electronical tag, an electronical data item. So it's converting a real thing that's not good for you into a digital item that they're requiring everyone to have, or you're not allowed to use their systems or websites or programs, right? If you don't accept the cookies. And that's what AI is doing. It's converting a word and term for... It's kind of like doing it the opposite way. Rather than a cookie, which is actually something that you can eat, which is like junk food, converting it into a digital thing, like a microchip, a software program element, right? And AI is doing it the other way. What it's doing, it's artificial intelligence, but yeah, it's converting it to human AI. That's like, a grade of observations on behalf of the human race and a level of excellence. But it's actually an artificial, it's a supercomputer. So it's trying to make supercomputers seem like it's some kind of human excellence. And the cookie is trying to make something that's a tangible, touchable, edible thing, junk food, into a digital thing, subjectively, right? On a subjective level. I really don't like the whole philosophy of these people who are coming out of Google is wrong. I think Zuckerberg's challenging Google. I think Zuckerberg did lose a lot of money on Facebook, but now I think apparently they've got a big case against Google at the moment, or some things that are going to affect Google and try and break it all up. But the thing is, I know that Google and eBay and Facebook, and I've got people working all over the world, right? Like in Ireland and India, China. They've got staff all over the world, but this California super headquarters model, this kind of Silicon Valley, Google, get the most intelligent people on the planet, and they go work at Google, and, there's nothing that they don't know, and they observe, they've got literally like a vein tap into the frontal lobe of every scientist. As soon as a scientist is making a discovery, Google know about it like this as they're making the discovery. Google have got their supercomputers plugged into the temporal lobe of every science lab on the face of the planet, and as they're making discoveries, Google know about it straight away, even when they're talking about it in their coffee break. Google Ads has already heard them and recorded their conversations and assimilated it into their new database, collecting data and everything. I don't like the model for it, because it's like, there's something not right about it. It is a monopoly. It's a monopoly, and now I think the American courts have started to realise that, once you've got, I think the thing with Google is, once you've got, X billion, whatever, and it's so much of a they can't afford to take risks on anything. And I actually, you get into the stage where, are Google interfering with court cases? Are the courts safe? Are the court's computers safe? Are the judges' records safe? Are the judges' files safe? We don't know. When you've got the world at stake and billions and a monopoly on the planet, how do you know that, Sergey Brin is not, in his back cave, hacking into the court's computers, and changing a couple, changing a couple of syllables and characters and letters in a legal representation, instead of now it says not. He's now guilty. No, it says he's not guilty. Oh, that was a little change. I now pronounce he is now guilty. Oh, no, I pronounce he is not guilty. Oh, that was a 3-letter change, and it changes the whole thing. I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg. I don't trust Sergey Brin. I don't trust Bill Gates when it comes to, running the world. Because, these people, they've got their own loopholes and tricks, and their objective and goal is to erase and eradicate our loopholes and tricks. They want humans to be perfectly behaved, but what is perfect behaviour? Problem solving. Oh, I'm in a house, I want to download a video, right? I'm downloading it on my phone connection, which I've got a right to do, but it's going to use up all my data. I need to solve the problem. Oh, I've got an idea. I'll just switch my Wi-Fi off halfway through and it switch over to the house and download the rest of the video. Oh, no, you can't be doing that. That's naughty. You're a naughty boy. You can't do that. You know what? I'm problem solving, Bill. I'm problem solving. I'm using IQ. Problem solving. No, I'm Bill. I solve the problems. You're the problem. I'm solving you. You're the problem that I'm solving. You can't do that. No. Naughty, sir. Well, what about your little tax break on the Canary Islands, Bill? Can we solve that problem? Well, no, that's my little perk. That's Bill's little perk. That's my little tax haven. That's my little hack. Oh no, Bill, that's naughty, Bill. That's like switching over from phone data to Wi-Fi when you're downloading a video, Bill. You can't have that. No. You can't have a little tax haven in the Canary Islands, Bill. That's naughty. That's what Donald does. Donald does that. That's a little Donald hack, a little Donald trick. We can't have any little tricks and hacks now, can we? This is it. This is the problem with Bill and Mark and Sergey and all these people who, are financially motivated, because it's all right for them to have little hacks. And then, and let's not get on to David Cameron. We need to protect our children, don't we? From all those sweets and cigarette tobacco smoke and soda fizzy pops and all the other goodies that Cameron's likely got investments in his own private investments, all the ice creams and, we've got Sonic toothbrushes now, fill your boots, we haven't got any rotting teeth anymore. Now everyone's got Sonic toothbrushes. That's a good hack. Now you can eat more ice cream, Well, at least your teeth aren't rotting, even though if you're rolling down the street, my teeth's not rotting. This is the thing. What is the solution? I think that it's the same problem as it has always been since even before the birth of Christ. It's greed, and I'm not trying to be dogmatic, but, these sins, I hate getting into religious conversations, but when I look at it simply, it's like people they're going too far, that they don't know when to stop, and people need to be able to moderate themselves and want to not have to have systems of physical computer program blocks or controls or signs up. It's education again, and apparently in education, a lot of the teachers, they don't like being self-critical anymore. They don't like critical thinking. They don't like to employ IQ. They don't like to challenge each other into challenging conversations in the staff room, because it's all woke now. It's not politically correct. They effectively just want to talk about, who won X Factor apparently, or Simon Cowell, or, who's on Loose Women or whatever. They don't want to be intellectually critical. Should we be doing this? Should we be doing that? Should you be doing this or that? And then they don't want to have, intellectual debates. And is that because of the diet? Is it because of the diet at the end of the day? Is it because of the television culture? I think that it is. And then there's this kind of thing now where everyone can design something. Everyone can have their own ideas and get it on, like a t-shirt or a mug or a handbag or a sweatshirt in like 10 seconds now. And, the thing is that it's the companies that are just making all the blank t-shirts, the blank mugs, the blank, phone covers, and they're making all the money. It's actually nice to get something that someone's actually made it themselves. I just bought 2 postcards from a charity auction, right? And those postcards are hand drawn, right? It was a blank sheet, right? It was like they all had the same postcard, and then they all got sent the postcard, but they all drew on it themselves, right? And there's an element of it being, handmade. It's actually made. A lot of these channels on YouTube now, it's like they desperately need to promote their channels and try and get some money, get some money coming in, monetization. But it's kind of like that they're all just, is it BlackRock Vanguard who are behind these blank mugs and blank T-shirts and blank merch type thing? No one's making their own stuff anymore. And I don't think we're probably not going to. But if we end up with people don't have skills, only machines manufacture, and now AI is doing all designing, and AI can come out with designs or randomized designs or come out with similar designs to another designer in the style of a certain artist, what is left for the human to do? There's a premise that, work and pleasure. I think the basis when you leave school is meant to be what do you like, what do you enjoy, and get a career in doing that, right? I like science, or I like biology, or I like geography, or I like this or that, and you get a job in it because you like it. It's not meant to be all complete chore. It's only meant, it was meant to be the working classes who had to go to work because they had to, and then more educated people who got a job in doing something because they liked doing it. It's almost like on The Shining, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. But even now the actors are now even starting to complain that they're getting replaced by AI. And, even George Clooney has been, complaining that, even George Clooney, when they finished copying George Clooney in every single syllable and word, then, there's not really going to be any work left for him once they've, copied AI into every single position that he could be in, and every syllable that he can pronounce. What is left for George Clooney, and then does he even own the rights to himself? What happens when they start making George Clooney do and say things that he doesn't necessarily advocate? Is that the case for Tolkien? Jeff Bezos is making loads of money out of all Tolkien's work and his family's legacy, all the stuff that never got made into film. But, Tolkien was really against. I don't think Tolkien would have liked the model of Bezos' Amazon, to be honest. There's that as well. Maybe we should. There's got to be some division so people can retain elements of humanity and not have to be forced to consent, submit, accept, conform, salute, kneel, subscribe, to these policies that aren't even laws. I think the actual the issue is that all these companies now they're they're creating their own laws that we don't vote for, and their services, it's required to give up your rights to them. You know, it's almost like become a member of. It's like becoming a citizen. You know, you don't have the rights of the country unless you're an actual citizen. You know, or it's almost like when you consent to Google, you sort of become a citizen of Google, and you have to comply with all their laws. But yet, Google is not a country. You know, it's kind of nuts. No one in their right mind would do that. But how are they getting away with it? You know, the thing is, if all of the people who are members or users of services suddenly, you know, signed a document which says, you know, but this is, you know, shareholders have these API meetings, AGI meetings, whatever, when they're voting on, you know, things. But apparently, you know, you've got to hold shares in the company to be eligible to vote, which is that's, you know what that is? That's like that's like in the early British Constitution, when only landholders could vote for MPs. It's going, this whole AGI meeting, or whatever they're called, for all these banks and share things, when you can only vote on motions if you're a shareholder, that's like when you could only vote for members of parliament if you were a landowner, or if you had so much land or money or whatever, effectively. And you know, so in a way that's going back it's going back medieval, like these local councils now having powers or authorities to ban everyone wearing red hats in the town centre, you know, or ridiculous things like that. And it's literally bylaws, you know. And the government seem to, you know, they're always criticising, going back to the Dark Ages, going back to the Stone Age, you know, but notice that when it suits them, suits you, sir, suits them, it suits Starmer, sir, it suits Starmer, sir, you know, we're not going back to all those rustic villages with straw roofs, no, we're having Starmer new powerhouses. Yes, Keir, but you want to go back to the, you know, only people who own shares in companies are allowed to vote on motions, and now we're going back to bylaws in local areas, or different laws in different areas, depending on what they fancy. So it's Cameron and Starmer, they talk a good game, but they just say whatever the fuck they want for whatever they want to do or they want to get, you know. So it doesn't matter whether it's old or new or this or that. They just say whatever the hell they want to get whatever the hell they want. It doesn't matter if it's going back, you know, backwards or forwards. It doesn't matter whether it's a regression or progress. You know, as long as I want to do this, and you know, I'm going to sell it to you like some sort of salesman. You know, the whole time it's about excesses, unhealthy excesses in different fields of activity, whether it's social, commercial, leisure, or whatever. It's all about balance, and we are out of balance. You know, we're out of balance. It's all about balancing, and you know, we're balancing the numbers, the figures. You can't balance life by numbers and figures, because a lot of it is subjectively controlled, which they try to control by the law. But you know, it's